When I did share my story, the response was overwhelming, humbling, and deeply inspiring.
Michael J. Fox had something from the world for 7 years. While he was winning awards and making people laugh, his body was fighting a war nobody could see. In 2025, cameras caught him at the U.S. Open in a wheelchair. Then he stood up. What happened next made millions cry. His wife Tracy recently revealed what the winter months do to him now, and the truth about why he adopted his youngest daughter in complete secrecy finally came out. This isn't just about Parkinson's. It's about what he's been hiding since the night his son was born. Michael Andrew Fox was born on June 9, 1961, in Edmonton, Alberta. He was the fourth of 5 kids in a house where mornings started at 5:30 and beds had to be made with hospital corners. His father, William, worked as a sergeant in the Canadian Armed Forces and earned just $12,000 a year. His mother, Phyllis, brought in $180 a week as a payroll clerk and sometimes acted in local plays just to stay close to her creative side. William didn't like that. He said acting was a waste of time. But Phyllis quietly helped Michael memorize comedy routines he saw on TV. While other families were having hot meals, they often had canned beans 3 times a week. That struggle made Michael crave something bigger. He didn't want a life of rules and corners. He wanted out. Before he turned 12, the Fox family had moved 14 times. The longest they ever stayed in one place was just 22 months in Chilliwack. Every few months, new school, new friends, new accents. Michael had a trick for that. For exactly 48 hours after every move, he'd study how people talked and then match it perfectly so he wouldn't stand out. When they were sent to Newfoundland in 1971, he got bullied hard for his Alberta accent, so he changed it in record time. His sister Kelly once said Michael had a journal with more than 200 entries, just notes about the people he had to leave behind. Each move cost around $3,000, which added more pressure on the family. But that constant change taught Michael something rare. He could become anybody, anytime. It made him ready for roles before he even knew he'd be an actor. At 10, he was only 4 feet 2 inches in tall. In Burnaby, that was a problem. He got kicked off junior hockey teams because they said he was too small for body checks. He was crushed. But then he found the school's drama club. His teacher, Mr. McRae, gave him an odd audition. He had to pretend he was doing a dog food commercial with made-up voices. What nobody knew was that Michael had been practicing alone in front of a cracked mirror for months. He made 3 voices and nailed it. He got paid $25 for a school play and hid the cash in a coffee can under his bed. He didn't miss a single rehearsal for 2 straight years, no matter how often his family moved. Acting was the only place where size didn't matter. So, he threw himself into it hard. By 15, something huge happened. He got a role on a CBC show called Leo and Me. The audition process took 6 months, and there were 847 other kids. Michael did a monologue about a lost dog, but it wasn't just acting, it was real. He had lost a dog. during one of the military moves, and he turned that pain into the script. He got $1,500 per episode, which made him the second highest earner in the family. He spent $400 on a Gibson guitar, even though he didn't know how to play it. So, he locked himself in his room and practiced for hours a day for months. The show ran for 26 episodes and made him around $39,000. His dad still thought acting was just playing pretend until Michael paid $800 for his sister's dental braces. That changed everything. In 1978, when he was 17, he dropped out of Burnaby Central High School and bought a one-way bus ticket to Los Angeles. It cost him $87. He had $13 left for food. Somewhere in Oregon, he ran out of money and hitchhiked the rest of the way. It took 72 hours, and one night he slept in a truck stop bathroom. In LA, he got a dishwashing job for $265 an hour, worked 50-hour weeks, and crashed on friends' couches. His dad was so angry he didn't speak to him for 8 months. Michael ate peanut butter and rolls from the diner just to get by. He went to 47 auditions before getting even a single small role. But every rejection only made him hungrier. When he tried to register with the Screen Actors Guild in 1979, he found out Michael Fox was already taken. His middle name was Andrew. But Michael A. Fox sounded too forced. He hated how the A sounded like A, especially with his Canadian accent. He remembered an actor he liked, Michael J. Pard, and took the J, even though it didn't stand for anything. That one little change shaped his entire Hollywood identity. In 1980, he got a real chance. Norman Lear and Alex Haley cast him in a show called Palmerstown, USA as Willie Joe Hall, the older brother in a white family during the Great Depression. The show tackled serious topics about race and class. It aired for just 17 episodes, but it gave Fox's first taste of how Hollywood worked. He was thrown into scenes about interracial friendship and had to act with moral weight. Even though it ended fast, the experience taught him how unpredictable TV could be. After that, between 1980 and 1981, he landed guest roles that built his early image. On Trapper John, M.D., he played a teenager with epilepsy. On Family, he played a boy with a crush on an older woman. These roles were powerful, but created a label he didn't want. Casting agents started calling him the sensitive short guy. That label would stick for a while. But one of those roles on Family led to a surprise. He improvised a scene and blew the producers away. That single moment helped open the door to something much bigger. His first movie was in 1981, a Disney comedy called Midnight Madness. It was a disaster. The film tanked. Critics hated it. He got stuck with $5,000 in debt. He had to sell his car and move into a tiny apartment that cost just $200 a month and was barely livable. He was eating McDonald's almost every day. At night, he wrote letters to his family but never sent them. He felt close to giving up, ready to return to Canada. He didn't because right then, opportunity knocked again. In 1982, NBC was casting for a new show called Family Ties. At first, they wanted Matthew Broderick, but he turned it down. When Michael auditioned, the creator, Gary David Goldberg, didn't like it. Said he didn't fit, but the casting director pushed hard and got him another shot. This time, he nailed it. Even then, NBC's Brandon Tartikoff wanted him gone. He told Goldberg, "Lose the kid. I don't see that face on a lunchbox." Goldberg fought back and said, "Give him 3 jokes. He gives you 5 laughs." Fox stayed. Years later, he mailed Tartikoff a custom lunchbox with the message, "This is for you to put your crow in." Behind the scenes, things weren't perfect. In 1983, during the first season, Fox was drinking heavily. He was only 21, but already showing up late and unprepared. Meredith Baxter, who played his mom on the show, quietly organized an intervention. NBC never found out. Fox later said he didn't stop drinking until 1989, the same year the show ended. That was the year his real life started getting better again. In 1986, he won his first Emmy for the episode The Real Thing. But the award almost cost the director his job. During a big scene, Fox ignored the script and went off on a political rant that lasted 3 full minutes. It messed up the timing and required last-minute editing. The studio was furious, but the audience loved it. That ad-lib helped him win the Emmy, and the director kept his job. During the 1984 Writer Guild strike, Fox did something few expected. He crossed the picket line to shoot a solo episode. He got paid $25,000 extra. Writers were furious. Some refused to attend the season wrap party. Others stopped writing dialogue for his character, but Fox said he had to work. At that time, the show had jumped from rank 56 to 5 in national ratings. He wasn't about to stop. In January 1984, on the episode Birthday Boy, something went very wrong. During a scene where Alex smokes a cigar, Fox accidentally inhaled real ash instead of the fake kind. He threw up off camera, and filming stopped for 2 hours, but he insisted on finishing the episode. The audience gave him a standing ovation when it wrapped at 1:30 in the morning. By 1987, the show was at its peak, reaching over 32.7 million viewers every week. But Fox was clashing with Justine Bateman behind the scenes. She felt he was stealing scenes by stretching his monologues. Rumors spread that she might quit, but they weren't true. It was really about contracts. Still, the tension was real. Fox's movie career was exploding, and the balance of the show had shifted when they started shooting Back to the Future on November 26, 1984. Eric Stoltz was already deep into the role of Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox had been their first choice, but he was locked into his schedule on Family Ties. So, the studio went ahead with Stoltz. 5 weeks passed. About 70% of the scenes had been filmed, but something didn't feel right. The jokes weren't landing. Director Robert Zemeckis felt the tone was off. Stoltz's intense style wasn't blending with the light-hearted spirit they wanted. It all came to a halt on January 10, 1985. Stoltz was out. Fox came in without even reading the script. This meant reshooting most of the film, wasting around $4 million. But there was no choice. The release was only months away. Bringing in Fox didn't make things easier. His family ties schedule didn't budge. So for 3.5 months, he barely slept. From 10 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m., he shot the sitcom. Then from 6:30 p.m. to around 2:30 a.m., he was on the Back to the Future set. On Fridays, it got even worse. He'd rehearse family ties at noon, tape 2 live shows, and then work overnight until dawn on the movie. He was living off coffee, barely sleeping in the van between sets. So tired he sometimes forgot which character he was playing. Years later, while shooting the gallows scene for Back to the Future Part 3, Fox made a bold choice. He wanted the close-up shot of him hanging to look more real. So he suggested doing it without the support box. He put his hand between his neck and the rope for safety. But on the third take, he missed. The rope cut off. Blood flowed to his brain. He lost consciousness and just hung there. The crew thought he was acting only when director Zemeckis noticed Fox wasn't moving at all. Did they rush in? They stopped production that day. By the time they filmed Back to the Future Part 2, in 1988 and 1989, something else had started. Fox noticed he couldn't skateboard like before. His hands shook. He dismissed it at first. So did the crew. They thought it was part of his acting. He was playing older versions of Marty after all. But these small changes were early signs of Parkinson's disease. Fox wouldn't be diagnosed until 1991 while filming Doc Hollywood. He later admitted he wore gloves on set to hide his trembling hands. Even while pretending to age into the future, his body was quietly telling a different story. There were other odd details that only made sense later. Christopher Lloyd, who played Doc Brown, was nearly 61. Fox was just under 5 feet 5 inches. To make them look more natural together, the filmmakers had Lloyd hunch over permanently. This small trick became part of Doc's famous look. On set, Lloyd would prank Fox often, even hiding the DeLorean keys once. That prank delayed shooting by over 2 hours and nearly cost them $50,000 in overtime. The year 1985 wasn't just about Back to the Future. Fox was also shooting Teen Wolf. The film was shot in just 21 days. Every day started at 3 a.m. because the werewolf makeup took over 4 hours. Yellow lenses, thick prosthetics, itchy suits. He'd scream mid-shoot, refusing to put the suit back on. Still, he kept showing up day after day. One dangerous scene had him surfing on a van's roof. They brought in a stunt double because they were scared the sleep-deprived Fox might fall. In 1987's The Secret of My Success, Fox's sneakers had real burn marks. He'd stub out cigarettes on them between takes to save time. He was still filming Family Ties, and he had to start another film, Light of Day, right after. During that shoot, Fox learned to play guitar from scratch, bleeding through his fingers, because he insisted on doing all the solos himself. He even wrote and sang his own song for the